With the undying thirst for knowledge and culture, one occasionally finds oneself drowning in the shallow puddles of pop culture, and I, in a moment of what can only be described as masochistic curiosity, have tuned into the spectacle that is South Park. It's a show that, for all its crass humour and juvenile jests, provides moments of astute socio-political commentary, a satirical mirage in a desert of media banality. But I must confess there is one recurring ritual within the show that, despite my critical faculties, I find myself envious of: the consistent, inevitable demise of a character named Kenny. Kenny, always obscured in appearance by the confines of his parka, meets his end in almost every episode, only to inexplicably return in the next. He's like the proverbial phoenix, rising from his ashes, ready to face death's embrace once more. The range of his departures from the mortal realm are both grandiose and trivial, and therein lies the brilliance of the joke. It is existential nihilism wrapped in the guise of comedy. No matter how insignificant or grand one's life, death is the great equalizer, and it will come again and again in forms both mundane and magnificent. Yet my confession is this: there is a perverse part of me, perhaps the bit that revels in debate and argumentation, that wishes I could be the hand of fate that ends Kenny's repetitive existence in each episode. To take on the role of the Grim Reaper, if only in animated form, and lend my voice to the chorus that, at the end of each episode, exclaims, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny!" Would it not be the ultimate irony? I, who have spent much of my life railing against the shackles of religious dogma, now positioned as the instrument of divine, or in this case, comedic, retribution. The absurdity of the idea itself is so palpably rich that it might very well be worthy of an episode in its own right. Now allow me to indulge in a brief fantasy. Picture, if you will, the ungodly hour of 5 a.m. The streets of Los Angeles are quiet, and the duo responsible for this animated juggernaut, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, are peacefully ensconced in their respective abodes. Suddenly a knock echoes through the stillness, the sound magnified by the pre-dawn silence. They stumble to their windows, perhaps fearing a crazed fan or an overeager paparazzo. But no, it's me, Christopher Hitchens, with a bottle of Johnny Walker Black in one hand and a script in the other, beseeching them to grant me this singular wish. "Mr. Parker, Mr. Stone," I'd begin with my characteristic directness, "I have a proposal. Lend me the honor of dispensing with young Kenny. Let me be the agent of his animated end. It's a cameo, I assure you, your audience would find both unexpected and, dare I say, amusing." Of course, whether they'd heed my early morning request or immediately ring for the police is uncertain. But in a world where the lines between the profound and the profane blur regularly, would it not be a poetic addition to the annals of television? In the labyrinthine corridors of life and art, some whimsical endeavors might at first glance appear as mere footnotes. However, as I've often maintained, the essence of satire, its very heart and soul, lies in excavating the profound from the profane, the significant from the seemingly superficial. If South Park has imparted any wisdom to us, it's that under the deceptive veneer of childlike simplicity lies a chaotic cosmos of absurdity and nuanced complexity. But permit me a moment to further indulge in this macabre reverie. Imagine, if you will, not just one early morning intrusion, but a series of them. Imagine the illustrious Mr. Parker and Mr. Stone time and again waking in the dim hours to find my silhouette outside their windows, to remind them of the ever-present spectre of existential dread, and perhaps the recurring mortality of our dear Kenny. The idea might be perceived as unsettling, but in a universe where the limits of reality and fiction blur, isn't such an act the ultimate homage to their art? A ceaseless reminder that, in the words of the bard, all the world's indeed a stage.